Welcome back to part 17. I did say I'd get distracted by some tool holders before we got on to doing the surface finishing prep, but I've decided with this one I only actually need one new concept saw to go in. I put two in that one because I had two different sizes, and also this was holding two tool kits. It's only going to hold one there because the other one's gone in here. So I only need one of those to go in. So I want to try and get a couple of Japanese saws in here as well, and the flush cut saw, although the small little flush cut can go in a tray if need be. So I'm going to have a play around and see how easily I can store those. Might have to employ some magnets or something. So first off, I'm just going to cut the ply off cut to fit the new concept saw. So first off, I'll get the new concept saw in. I've got one of those offcuts that's slightly oversized. Align it so the grain's going horizontally, the same as the inside of the lid. Simple really, just pencil in, get to the size that you want. You don't necessarily want it all coming all the way down to your blade, because the blade might foul on it, but that's okay, there's clearance there. But to be honest, even if it was up here, it wouldn't really make a difference. The one that I already fitted that works fine for me, there's about, I don't know, a centimetre. And then once it's penciled around, depending on what equipment you've got available to you, you can either whip it onto, if there's not much material to come off, whip it onto the disc sander, bandsaw it, coping saw it, and a sanding block. And then you want it just so that this fits on, don't want it too loose, but you want it so it's easy enough to get on and off. And then the offcuts that we had from making the saw holders, if you've got any, or just raid your offcuts box. And then cut these down, obviously much smaller and daintier than that, they look much too big. And then we can put a screw in there and just work it out just so that it folds within. And then we can get that fitted into the lid. But first off, I want to work out how I can get these Japanese saws in there as well and have easy access and nothing blocking you from getting anything else. And obviously there's the little toggles on that one. So that's cut to size now, so that could just fit up there, but I'm just going to have a look about these Japanese saws and see what I can fit in. I'm thinking maybe that's going to work the best. Put the new concept on its side. I think that may be the best solution. Turn the new concept 90 degrees and then put the two Japanese saw vertical in that corner, and then there's still a gap left here so that I can get the saws out without, and I can squeeze these over as much as I need to. So I think I might go with that. See how this one works. Again, each one I do a little bit different, fit a few more tools in. So I can't emphasize how much just mocking this up really helps with the decision making. I'm just using all the dividers and offcuts to change the height of things and move them around. I think this is going to be the way that I'm going to go. I might put both the Japanese saws the same way, but actually they take up less space that way. But now it started me thinking, well, if I just lift the new concept up a little bit, I've got this corner here. So then I'm going to have a look at what can I fit in this corner. I've always disliked having my engineer's squares just sat in the bottom of the chest. So I might make a little holder that then screws on there with magnets in it that fits 2 or 3 sizes of square into that corner. So then all of a sudden I'm getting the most of the space that I've got. So I'm going to screw that new concepts board in first and then work my way along from that. So as with all design, you have a plan, but it evolves. So I'm just drafting things out again, mocking things up. I've just shaped 2 of those offcuts, put tiny little chamfers around the top edges and put a countersunk hole on. Now I can just work out the best position for them so that they come completely in. So I'm going to attach those, and of course it's a bit easier on here because I've got 2 lots of 12mm. These are only 8mm thick, so I can put 20mm screws in there. So I'm going to fit those on. And then I'm going to, well, these I've got ideas how I'm going to fit them. I might not do it straight away. Then I'm gonna have a think about what I actually want to fit in there. And I'll probably, but I think that works quite well now because I get the Japanese saws, Western saws, the new concept, some squares probably in there, and I think it's a step up. It's going to be more usable than this one, which is better than that one. So pretty good. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. And I said I would do some surface finishing. That's going to be in the next one. And I'm going to have a play around with what I do with the squares here. I'll find some way of fitting them. The offcuts of ply again are so useful because the offset behind the blade with the size of the handle is the 12mm ply fits in beautifully. So I'm going to use some of the magnets which I'll sink into the ply behind. I'll find another way of holding the top. I don't want just one of the spring clips. They're a bit ugly, so I'll probably make something from timber. So, and then I'll put another piece of ply behind this one with magnets on, so that one clicks in. These are already fitted nicely now, so I can take that out easy enough. So it just shows you can just play around with your own toolkit and customize it and come up with all sorts of ideas. And once you start rummaging through all your offcuts, the ideas just flow. So again, I told you I'd get distracted for part 17. So by the time I come back for part 18 and we do look at surface finishing, I'll have fitted my dividers in and made my mind up where they're going to be. I might have done the squares, definitely will have done the Japanese saws, and then we can get on to finishing this thing and putting some tools in it. So I will see you in part 18. Thank you.